Hi, everyone, and welcome to Off the Record, the sports podcast of breaking news, hard opinion, and a little bit of gibber. Our special guest today is an icon of Australian sport and media. Hang on, that's Braith's intro from last month. Hang on. No, I'm kidding. Our special guest today really is an Australian sporting legend, having excelled in the sport of rugby league while proving himself to be one tough hombre in the square ring of boxing. He played 348 games for the Cronulla Sharks, 24 origins for New South Wales and 32 internationals for Australia. He shares the Australian record with Cameron Smith for most first-grade seasons, a grand total of 19. He is best remembered for leading teams to two modern-day rugby league miracles. The first came in 2014 when he inspired New South Wales to a series victory over a Queensland side most believe is the strongest of any Origin team in history. And the second came 2 years later when he led the Sharkies to their maiden premiership in their 50th season. Before holding up the premiership trophy, he told the Cronulla faithful they can turn the porch lights off. Well, our special guest today is also known for throwing around a bit of leather, and he does some boxing on the side as well. He's had 18 professional fights, 15 wins with 8 via knockout, 2 losses and 1 draw. He's coming out of retirement to finally shut up Sonny Bill Williams. He's had more appearances in Buzz's column than any other person in history, and that includes Flano and Gus. I'm looking at Buzz across the table now, listeners, and he is frothing as we speak. Our special guest is, of course, Paul Gallen. G'day, Gal.
G'day, mate. I can say, unfortunately, not all positive from the old mate.
Mate, you've been a sinner probably 2 or 3 times.
2 or 300 times.
Yeah.
Let's go to the first question. Who wins a fight out of me and Buzz?
I've got to back you, mate. Youth.
Thank you, mate.
Youth.
Yeah. No,
Youth?
you get me.
Can
I just say you must be getting massive money for this fight because we're in a coffee club down at Cronulla, so every now and then, well, quite often we catch up for coffee. Walking in today, Gal had shouted me the first coffee in 10 years. He just brought me a latte.
You're such a liar.
Mate, you must be getting a squillion.
Oh, please, mate. Look, I hope we do well out of it. That's the idea of it. At the end of the day, I'm a prize fighter. That's what I start doing this sport for. So hopefully we do okay out of it. But, mate, I've my fair share of shouts. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to ask you first up, why have you taken this on? Because you're retired, you're 43 years of age. And be fitting, is it the money? Or is it the satisfaction of knocking Sonny Bill out? Because I know you don't copy him.
I don't copy him, yeah, you're right. I've got to say, Buzz, a bit of both. So 2022, I retired in 22. 2023 was my first time I'd really retired. I retired from, obviously, rugby league in 2019, went into boxing, pretty serious for a couple of years. Yeah, had some big fights, way bigger fights than I ever thought I'd have. To be honest with you, like
the Hooney fight,
the Hooney, Terevieski, Mark Hunt, Lucas Brown, like I had way bigger fights than I ever thought I'd have. So end of 22 retired. 23 was it was a bit of a loose year for me, to be honest. I was probably drinking too much, and I found myself.
I've had about 40 of those years.
Yeah, well, mate, from where I come from to where I come from to what I was doing, it wasn't me. And never forget, I got off a plane. Me and Wade Graham flew back from Vegas the first year.
I was on that plane.
Yeah, and we slept the whole way. And I said to Wade, mate, I'm not drinking anymore. And me and him have this saying, just get to Wednesday. Wednesday's the hump day. If you get to Wednesday, you should be okay. And I said, no, man, I think I'm like really done, eh? And I went and got some help, and then.
Did you really?
Yeah, I had to, mate. I was not in a good way. It wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't. I understand now why at the end of your sporting career or athletic career, why rugby league players can struggle.
Yeah.
And I don't think I played for so long. I don't think I was struggling with that. I just had so much free time.
Yeah.
So much. And what scared me was I was turning up to Channel 9. I was turning up to work, and I was coping. And that's what scared me.
Right.
Because when I played rugby league, I didn't drink often. I wasn't a big drinker.
Right.
When I drank, I went to the extreme. I was a big drinker then, but I never drank often. But it'd take me 3 or 4 days to get over it. And when I started coping with it and just turn up to work and being normal, it's like, this isn't me, So went and got a bit of help and didn't drink.
What sort of help? Yeah.
Just talking to a lady. She's actually based in Dubai. So yeah.
Oh, really? What, a psychologist?
Yeah, psychologist. Yep.
Really? Shit.
So got some help there. Didn't drink all of 23. And, don't drink much anymore. Yeah. I will drink again. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't drink anymore, but I do. And then me and Wado went to Wado's house and I watched the Jake Paul fight. Jake Paul fight Mike Tyson, and obviously I put all my money on Mike Tyson. I wanted him to win, And then when he got beaten, I thought in the fight, I thought, you know what? Everyone knows Jake Paul doesn't get near Mike Tyson when they're doing it properly, which reminded me of Sonny Bill Williams. No matter what Sonny wants to say, he never wanted to come near me when I was fighting and when we were both fighting. But never wanted to come near me. And I thought, well, you know what? If he just does happen to beat me now, who cares? It's professional sport. There's a winner and a loser. Does it really matter as long as I get a good earn out of it, right? So I rang Stan. I said, "Does Sonny? Are you still interested in the Sonny Bill fight?" They said, "Oh yeah, we'll speak to him." And they come back to me and said, "Yeah, they're keen." Sure. I said, "Oh, well, let's go. Let's do it." And that's how it all happened. This was in November 2024. So last year, 7, 8, 9 months ago. So we've been negotiating. It took until May to finalise the contract. So it took 7 months of negotiation to finally get the deal done. And yeah, here we are. It's finally going to happen.
How has it gone close at all to happening before? Never.
Sonny Bill Williams says 2022 we're right down to the wire.
And you wanted 70%. I think
it's a lie.
It's a lie.
And I've said from the start. Said 2 or 3 months ago when he came out and said, I said, for this negotiation, I've got 7 months of emails, 7 months of texts, 7 months of correspondence between me and Stan. I said, Sonny, just 2022, just provide one email, one text, one bit of correspondence between me and Stan or me and anyone. To prove just prove me a liar. It's so easy. Show people the contract. Show us the contract. Where's the contract? I was just about to sign it, wasn't I? Where is it? And then he says it was going to be a 10-round fight, 12-round fight. Was it 10 or 12? Which one?
Oh my God!
And then 12 rounds. 12-round fights. 12-round fights are pretty much not exclusively, but are pretty much reserved for world titles. So seriously, I fought for Australasian titles, only 10 rounds, and he thinks we're going to fight a 12-round fight. Like, the bloke is just so special. Seriously.
And how many rounds is this fight?
This fight is 8 2-minute rounds. So as I said, we've been negotiating since November. Everything was signed off on. I actually wanted to fight in Vegas. I said, let's go fight in Vegas. Oh. We'll fight in Vegas. There's 30,000 Aussies there, 40,000 Aussies there. Nothing to do for a couple of days.
Imagine that.
Let's go and fight in Vegas. Stream it back into Australia. Make a fortune. All right? No, it didn't suit Sonny. It wasn't the right time. He couldn't do it. I said, okay, let's do it Magic Round. Let's do a Magic Round. We're up in Brisbane. Sure. 30,000 Aussies up there, and people travelling, supporters from Rugby League want to see it. Do it on a Thursday night before on the Friday night.
Should be into promotion. These are good ideas.
But no one listens. And then anyway, obviously stream it back into people for New South Wales can't go. Again, make a fortune. No, didn't suit Sonny. And then this is all up in like November, December. Then towards the end of December, it might have been like just before Christmas, I got a phone call of Ben and Kimber saying, mate, how many rounds you want? I was thinking it was going to be a 10-round fight. They said they want to do 8. I said, yeah, no worries. That's good. That's fine. We'll do that. 8 2-minute rounds. I was like, yeah, I started laughing. I thought he was joking. He goes, no, I'm serious. And that was what the sticking point was for the next 4 or 5 months. And get me negotiating, trying to get to 3-minute rounds, trying to get more money, trying to get them to subsidise me because I'm going to give him an advantage. It wouldn't happen. Basically, got to the stage where Ben Kimber said, look, yeah, that's it. There's no more negotiation. Nothing else we can do. Take it or leave it. I said, okay, I'll take it. Let's do it.
Can I just say this? I might as well say this story now because it's relevant. The last fight I covered of Sonny's was the 2013 fight against Franz Botha, the South African. Yep. And I was in that corner and I'd fallen out with the Sonny camp over when he left the Bulldogs. And Coda said, come in, I want you to come in and watch it with eyes wide open. I said, I will, Coda. So I sat right on the ring, right near Botha's corner. And that was the infamous fight where, everyone from the main event commentators to the Botha corner to the journos to the judges to the match referee, we all thought it was 12 rounds. And you could see Sonny was, at the end of the 9th was like holding on to Botha, who was fatter than me, and holding on. Sonny's eyes were rolling back in his head. And they said, this is the last round. And I was going, what the fuck? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, so the fight ended and Coda ran in from the corner and grabbed Sonny's hand and said, the winner, yeah. And I went, that's the fucking oddest thing I've ever seen. Are you worried about
100%.
About that going into this fight?
Really, really worried. Really concerned. Sonny's even come out and said the only way I can win is if I knock him out. And that's probably right. At the end of the day, we've seen this happen before with Coda. They've been able to Stan has somehow even entertain the idea of 2-minute rounds in a fight this big is insane. It's ridiculous. But Sonny is Stan's boy. Right? He works for them. He doesn't really work for Nine. He works for Stan.
Yeah, but yours entrenched.
Yeah, well, mate. Well, I don't feel that with Stan. I feel like he's the A side of the promotion, which he is. Anything Sonny wants, he gets. They seem to tiptoe around him a hell of a lot, and I'm extremely concerned about the fight. And I just hope that combat sports have people, the most honest people involved. Not only that, the amount of holding he might be able to do.
Yeah.
We've seen when I fought Barry Hall, somehow got away with being able to hold me from the first second to the last minute of the 6 rounds, got away with it, never had a point deducted. Now, I approached combat sports before that fight. I said, we got told he's just going to hold me, constantly hold me when I get near him. They said, he's not allowed to do that intentionally. He will be warned, eventually have points taken off. Warned every single round. I'm concerned about this fight also. Yes,
I want to ask you about the build-up. Boxers are renowned for saying outrageous things leading up to fights to sell tickets, sell pay-per-views. He hit you up with some heavy stuff, drugs and peptides. And how did you feel about that?
Yeah,
and was it? Do you think he said it to sell tickets?
No, he called you a drug chief.
Yeah,
that was his
at the end of the day, I've got to cop that because of what happened at Cronulla. He was sort of insinuating that things are happening now.
Yeah,
I spoke to my legal team about it. Now they're not going to get involved. At the end of the day, they said,
but it was defamatory.
Defamatory, but I'll say it on here right now. If there's a legal team out there who wants to explore this further and is happy to do it pro bono, I don't want a cent out of it. I don't want to make 1 cent, but what he said was defamatory. If there's a legal team out there that thinks they want to sue him, I'm happy to make a statement. I'm happy to be drug tested at any time you want, whatever sort of drug test you want to have, and I'm happy to try and sue him. And as I said, I do not want 1 cent out of it. You take your fee at the end of it if we win, and I'll donate the rest to charity.
Is that in the back of the mind when you step into the ring? You know, the drug.
Nah, look, at the end of the day, mate, it's happened 14 years ago at Cronulla. I can't change what's happened. Believe me, no one is angrier about than I am. Who's the only one labelled with it? Me. I'm the only person labelled with him of the entire squad.
But your kids listen to it.
Yeah, and it was very, very hard when my kids come home and ask me about it.
Because they weren't old enough when Cronulla
I only had one kid. I only had one kid at the time. I only had one daughter.
I want to ask you about your history with Sonny Bill, and you told me a story once how you've actually had a night out with him at Northies.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a night out with
Gallen
him.
and Sonny Bill. I'd love to get the old CCTV.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't say a night out. He was there. I was there. We did sit together and have a couple of drinks. I can't remember what the conversation was like. I don't remember.
What year, Gal, roughly?
I would have been really early on, Yeah. I would have been 22, 23. He was probably, 18, 19.
He used to like a night out, Sonny Bill.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Back in the day?
Yeah.
Like yourself.
Yeah. Well, I think
you had a bit in common then.
We're all a bit guilty there, I think, at times. But I can't remember the night, but we definitely had a drink or two together at Northies one night, yeah.
Another good story, after an Australian-New Zealand test, you two swapped jerseys.
Yeah, after the World Cup
and
final.
You gave yours away.
Well, to be honest.
You gave it away.
To be honest, look, I'll be honest with Sonny Bill. When we had a drink, when we were very young, I had no issue with them at all. What he done at the Canterbury Bulldogs just sits with me, and I just don't like him because of that. And you won't change my opinion on him because of that. You don't do that to your mates. I can't believe that the Bulldogs players from that time, some of the bigger mates of him, they like him. They accept that. To be walked out on overnight, mate, come on.
And denying it for weeks and weeks and
do
weeks.
It to your mates.
Yeah.
Like, we all want to earn more
money.
money.
He was young.
I don't care, mate.
But hold on.
He hasn't learned, Buzz.
But who was he? But who dragged him out? Coda dragged him out.
Coda tell you.
And he was at a young
But this is what annoys me about him, Buzz. He hasn't changed. Like, this fight is a perfect example. 20 years later, rather than doing it properly and fighting 3-minute rounds the way it's supposed to be done over 8 or 10 rounds, he changed it to 2, again to suit him.
Sure.
Everything about in life is about Sonny Bill Williams, and he's always been allowed to do it. That's what I said about Stan. He's Stan's boy. How could Stan even do that? How could Stan even allow it to happen?
But what about the jersey swap? You didn't even want it. You gave it away. You gave it away.
Well, my best mate, Hogs, is in my corner every fight I have. He's a massive Roosters fan. The most tragic Roosters, got Roosters tats all over him. Absolutely loves the Roosters. The Roosters won the competition that year, 2013. It was after the World Cup final over in England. And he said, mate, can you get Sonny Bill's jersey from him? I said, yeah, 100% I'll ask. And he gave me his jersey. I gave him mine. I got no idea what he'd done with mine, even wanted or not. As I said, I didn't really want his. I gave it to Hogs, and Hogs has got it framed in his house still.
Yeah, right.
And, so that's the story of that.
Yeah, wow.
I hope the fight's as good as the podcast.
Mate, a little bit. At the end of the day,
I always thought it was a bit of bullshit. I didn't realise there was the hate there.
There's no bullshit. I can't say hate. I'll tell you why I don't hate him, because he's done things in the past that I said to myself at the stage, I'm not going to bring up. Because as a man, as a bloke, I think there's certain things you don't bring up. You don't do things that will affect innocent people. His wife and his kids are innocent. They don't deserve to hear some of the things he was a part of. He can tell them. He probably will have to tell them one day. But they're not going to hear it from me. I'm not going to bring up certain things. And that's just what I stand for. That's just me as a person. But that's not him as a person.
That's the only thing you got in common. Lovely families. Both here, with kids, and
that's what annoys me about him. He's gone out of his way to say things about me that it has affected them. Now, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that person. And I'm not trying to act like an angel because I'm not. I'm no angel. I know I'm not. I know exactly what I am. Yeah. But the thing that gets me about him is he doesn't know what he is. He's bloke's a grub. He's an absolute shitcake, honestly. Yeah. No, he's a grub, and he thinks he's almighty, honest, great person. He's not.
Don't say grub. Ryan Hoffman will be on the phone.
So that's the whole thing. I love Hoffy, right?
So do I.
I love Hoffy.
He shouldn't have called Woodsy a coward.
But then he called him a coward.
No.
At the end of the day, we are all hypocritical.
We are very much not the media, Gal. We are very straight down the line.
Hypocritical.
I was very disappointed the other week when I heard you regretted going the 1-2 on Nate Miles' massive chin.
No, I'm not. Look, I'm not proud of that. That's something that happened heat of the moment. It's not something I talk about often, but it's life. I can't change it.
Well, I liked it.
Hey, Gal, you're just talking about your kids, and it's a brutal sport. It's going to be a tough night out at work. Will your kids watch it? Do you let them watch it? Will your young fella go with you to the fight?
Cody's got a ticket. He doesn't like the boxing. When they
wouldn't like seeing Dad in a tough fight either.
I'll tell you what happened. He was right into it. Kids come watch me spar. He likes punching pads and bags himself, and then he come watch me fight Hodges and Hannett. And I was very close to getting beaten that night. Very, very close. I don't want to take anything away from them too, but I didn't. I remember at the end of a round when Hodjo dropped me, I was so angry at myself because I've based my whole life on preparing well. I know what I did for that fight, which was nothing. And I'll sit in the corner, you idiot, you've done this to yourself. You're going to get beaten by this bloke. He wouldn't come near you. I come back and won the fight, thankfully. But Cody was in the corner and he was rattled. He said to my wife last night, he goes, I don't know if I want to go watch Dad fight this time. So I'll leave it up to him. If he wants to come, he will. My daughter won't come. The two youngest daughters
How old's your son?
He's 14.
Right. So he's old enough to understand it all,
And he's not keen to come. He's not overly keen to come.
About the girls, mate?
The babies definitely won't come, and my 16-year-old daughter won't come now.
Yeah, right.
So, no, they don't like it. My wife hates it.
Why are you doing? Didn't they try and talk you out of it?
100% talked me out of it. Yep, they all tried to. Everyone close to me tried to talk me out of it.
Most men have to listen to their wives.
Well, but this is it. I've told her this is it. She said if it's not it, I'll leave.
Yeah, but this was it 3 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but this fight's been spoken about for a long time. This is the only fight I was ever going to come back for. It's been spoken about for a long time.
Your flight, no, I'm not being a smart ass. You're so comfortable. You own half of Cronulla, all that real estate and shit. So the cash isn't,
it doesn't change my life. This is what I'm about to tell you. So those close to me said, "What if you lose? What if you lose?" And I said, "Well, what if I win?" Yeah. And they said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, what if I win? What happens?" And they said, "Nothing." I said, "Well, what if I lose?"
You need to win.
I know. I know. You both got it. I know I do. But if I don't, I said, "What if I don't? Does it change my life? Does winning or losing this fight change my life?" No. And they said, "Well, I suppose not." I said, "Well, there you go." I said, "I'm not going to live my life wondering what if." I've never done that. Have a look at me and what I've done in life. I lost more games than anyone in history, but I never gave up. I kept going until I got to that grand final and won that grand final. Origin, I could have retired from Origin, left Origin, but no, I wanted to win one. So I kept striving and striving and striving. We eventually got there. Now, these aren't individual sports. I've got to rely on teammates for that. But, I've always been a bloke who's had a crack at anything, whatever it might be, just have a crack. And that's the thing about life these days is everyone's so concerned about the result. Rather than just enjoying the process and having a go and just doing the best you can to get there.
That's why we pay. That's why we watch. We want to see you win.
Exactly right. But I just think it's an issue with society these days. We're so concerned about the outcome rather than enjoying the process and just having a go. I think social media's got a lot to answer for that.
You seem. I wish I could, really know your thought. But if you drop him right and knock him out and see him on the ground.
Do you want to know what my biggest concern is?
Would that be as good up there with holding the truck?
Nowhere near it. Mate, this fight means nothing to me.
I
don't care.
Cop him, mate.
Can't cop him. My biggest concern.
Wouldn't you like to knock him out?
I want to try and drop kick his head off his shoulders. That's my biggest concern. I hate. I hate him and I don't hate him. I want to kick his head off his shoulders. That's what I want to do. I'd get disqualified. I would look at it, but that's in my mindset going into this. That's how much I want to hurt him.
Yeah, wow.
That's how much I want to hurt him. Like I want to. I've thought about it. If I see him get up, I want to drop kick that head straight. That's how much. Like that's the hatred I have for him at that time, at that moment.
Can we put an R rating on this podcast?
I'm shitting myself just sitting here.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
Look, I won't. No. But that's in my mind.
I bet you after the fight you'll embrace each other.
Not a chance.
You will.
Not a chance.
Won't shake his hand.
Not a chance. Not a chance. No? Not a chance.
Gal.
Buzz, I'm telling you right now, Buzz, I have no plan. And there's not a thing that he can do that can change my mind on him. I hate him. Like, I do hate him. I don't want to say nothing that's going to hurt or offend his family. I'm not going to do that. As a bloke, I'm not going to do that. But there's nothing about this person I like, and there's nothing he can do to change that. Nothing. And I'm sure he's the same way about me.
You think we would? Really?
I mean, I got no interest. I'm 44 years old 3 weeks after this fight. I've got no interest in trying to make any friends. I know who I am. I know what I am. I've got my circle of friends very close. That's all I need in my life. I've got my family and my kids. I don't need to try and make friends with some bloke I don't like.
Yeah, I hate people in general. How you had an interesting piece on the weekend with a good weekend. I thought it really stood out, Gal. You said that you've done so many scans and that on your brain, and that they've all come back very positive. You don't feel any effect of. You didn't really get concussed during your career.
No,
did
I was
you?
lucky enough not to be concussed. I've been lucky enough not to be knocked out boxing. Been dropped sparring. Been dropped in a fight. Yes, don't get me wrong. I all I can do is, what's happening and what we know about the brain. So 3 years ago, I got my brain scanned, all tests done. They said, "Is there any areas you don't think you would be good at?" I said, "Look, my memory's not very good." I said, "But I've been like that forever. Like, you meet so many people, I don't remember people's names, and like people say that's because you meet so many people." And I'm like, "Yeah, but because of all the talk around concussion these days, I do think about it. When I've lose my car because I'm like, oh shit, is that CTE? But it's not. It's not. Just you get older, we forget things.
You get busy, you can't remember stuff.
All my tests came back good. My results came back. I was weak at memory. That was something I was concerned about. But again, that's been an issue for me for a long, long time. Where I sit at the moment, where I sat 3 years ago, they said to me, for the next 5 years, we think you'll be fine. And I said, hang on, 5 years is like tomorrow. It's almost tomorrow. Yeah, mate, we are. This is all new to all of us. We just don't know. We can't give you any answers any longer than that. But for the next 5 years, you'll be okay. So after this fight, and look, to be fair, for the next, from 3 years ago, I had 2023, which was a big year on the drink, but I wasn't
I was going to say
sparring
that,
or carrying on.
Giving up the grog would help.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I think that is a bit of could be an issue with players we've seen from back in the day have issues with their brain now. They get knocked out on the ground, dragged up, come on, let's go, keep going, and they walk in the change room at the end of the game, have a beer, and then have a beer after training on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Like I think lifestyle's got a bit to do with it also, but we don't know. I don't know. I've done a little bit of research into it where your brain can heal, so it's not something that just gets damaged and stays damaged. So if you cop a concussion, basically 10, 11 days later, if you've rested, done the proper protocol, proper rest, your brain can heal. You won't keep getting concussed. But I suppose with boxing, you're sparring 2 or 3 times a week and you're getting repeated head knocks. That's where issues can happen. But look, I'm doing everything I can to make sure I'm okay, and I will get scanned and tested again after this, and hopefully things are still okay.
Do you ever suffer fear? Are you ever scared?
100%. People say they're not alive.
What, but before a footy game or before
everything?
Before this fight?
And before I spar, I'm scared.
Are you really?
I'm getting hurt.
Getting hurt, getting bashed. No, 100%. People say they're not scared.
Ego-wise, or
you know what? Yeah. Everything. You fear. I have fears all the time. And I don't care what people say. If you don't have fears, if you're not scared to put yourself out there.
So what do you think when you just go through the ropes? What are you thinking?
I bring it all back to my preparation.
Do you?
That's what I bring it back to. I'm
got
scared.
a good trainer too,
yeah,
Graham.
But it's just I bring everything back. That's the same way I did rugby league. I was so scared to go on the field and put yourself out there, and you got thousands of people watching, thousands of people know how to judge you and judge every move you do, everything you do. People judge you. That's scary. But if I bring it back to my preparation,
to fail or scared of getting hurt?
Both, everything. Scared to fail, scared of getting hurt, scared of getting your ego hurt, scared of letting your kids down, scared of letting your trainers down, scared of letting your family down. Like there's so many fears, but if you bring it back to your preparation, you bring it back to the work you've done to get there, there's nothing else you can do. And that was my whole philosophy throughout my whole life, throughout my rugby league career and my boxing career. If I prepare well, if I've done all the work leading into it, there's no reason I can't go out and perform. And I coach under 14s rugby league team, and they get nervous some big games you play, and I say, okay, I bring it back down to the simplest form of rugby league team. I say, my young bloke, Cody, do you know how to catch a ball? Yeah. Do you know how to run? Yeah. Do you know how to tackle? Yeah. That's all you got to do. Go there and do that. That's all. I'm not asking you to do anything else than that. That's all I'm asking you to do. And if you get 13 blokes on the field all doing that, you're going to be hard to beat. Yeah. And that's the way I treat my boxing. Okay, I've got to protect myself. I've got to block punches. I've got to slip punches, move my head. I know how to jab. I know how to throw a right hand. Just go there and do it. It's
you're looking fit, Gal.
It's easier said than done, but that's the way I treat it.
You've lost 10 kilo.
Yeah, close to 10
kilos. Is that so you're under your normal fight weight?
My bigger fights, the Tervietsky fight and the Huni fight, and so the Mark Hunt one, I was probably around 100 kilos. That's where I'm at the moment. Yeah, so they were the bigger ones. Other ones I prepared best for, and that's where I'm at the moment. I was in saying that before those fights, I was probably 106, 107 kilos. Before this one, I was close to 110. So I was a bit bigger than I have been in the past.
Do you feel at this age, 3 years after retire, you've lost some hand speed, or have you lost some? I know you train like a lunatic up and down those sand hills at Wanda, and you're always in the gym.
Yeah, I think definitely. Look, probably not the hand speed and the coordination stuff, but I think when you get in the moment, and I've had it a couple of times in sparring, I try to spar guys who are always better than me, and I think would beat Sonny Bill. So if I can compete with them guys, I'm going to go into the fight confident. But there's been times where I've been in the ring with those guys over the 8 rounds, and by round 4 or 5, I'm in. Not in trouble as far as getting knocked around, but just like you got to go to that well. You got to dig deep, and you got to really push yourself. And I've found this time at my age, it's harder to go. It's harder to get to that well. It's harder to go right down, dig real deep than what it was, say, 4 or 5 years ago. Definitely harder, and that's why age is undefeated. It's undefeated for a reason. We're all going to retire. We don't want to retire. I don't want to. I wish I could play rugby league my whole life, but. No, it's inevitable that age is undefeated.
You seem you always want a challenge in life. You seem like a bloke who never really relaxes. And
yeah, you're right there.
You know what I mean? No one that can have a week off at home and go fishing. And
it's an issue for me. And I'm hoping it's not an issue after this fight because you know, I don't want to go back to where I was in 23 where I was looking for that outlet and I was looking for
Can I tell them the story about
Mate,
this is a true story.
Wait, question.
Yes.
Is he a sook? Mate, listen to this for a story.
If he's not the gold medalist, he's on the podium.
Listen to this.
This is the scariest state. We've got a mutual mate down in the Shire, billionaire publican. And he's got a big boat. It's about 60 feet, right? And he took about a dozen of us out in the boat. And a mutual mate of ours called Subway Dave decided to bring a case of, was it bourbon and Coke?
Jim Beam and Coke.
Jim Beam and Coke.
Which I love.
A full case, which he drank on his own in about an hour and a half. Mate, he was
2023.
He was dribbling.
Your normal state.
So anyway, I'm upstairs there, and he brought up something I'd written about 10 years.
Oh, nice.
And mate, I thought he was going to spear me off the boat. I've never been as frightened in all my life. I've never been.
I don't remember what I put up.
Of course you didn't remember it.
But I do remember saying this. I do remember saying, well, Buzz, run at me. Yeah. And
I would have paid to see that.
Mate, I weigh 74 kilo and I'm 60.
I was going to actually make you run at me. So I'm mucking around joking. Yeah. And then I've sat down and carried on. Then I've said it again. And then all of a sudden he walks downstairs. And I thought nothing. I'm sideways, you know. Most of us were. And then we get back to the port and he's just sort of taking on. I'm like, Buzz, where are you going? And he was filthy at me.
I was in a state of shock.
You can't be serious.
He's got one of the worst glass jaws I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't mind giving it out.
You're very good at giving it out, but you're not good at copping them. What?
If you'd
What?
seen Gal, mate, I'm telling
Come
you.
on, mate. I am not.
I now know
Baz, that was
nothing
the
was
best-
ever going, but it was very funny. There's another question
And
I
did he
want to
write?
ask
And
you.
did he write in his column the next week?
He was off me for a while. I got. What do you call it?
He got a 2-week suspension.
Yeah, suspension. That's what he
Yeah,
calls
yeah.
it, suspension. When he's off, he suspends you for a little while.
I wanna
don't
bring
think
up
I've been
something
barred.
else.
I don't think I've been barred, but I've been suspended a few times.
You're not up there with Gus or Sterlo. You're not out in Siberia.
Hey, I want to ask you something. I'm shocked you actually hear this up, being the fact you work for Channel 9, you're fighting for Channel 9 or Stan. They do not cop me at all, and I don't think they're all that flash with Webby
Hey,
either.
speak for yourself.
Mate, you know
Everybody
they
loves
don't
me.
cop you over there.
Oh, please.
You know they don't. How'd you get a start here? Did you need permission? Or?
No, I did speak to them, but
I bet you they weren't keen.
no. Well, this thing with me, Buzz, like if I say I'm going to do something, I've got to do it, and I wasn't going to let you blokes down. I was at the end of the day, I'm not allowed to do podcasts with my 9 deal. I can't do podcasts. I get asked to do podcasts all the time, but this is about boxing. And to be fair, Channel 9 have always been very good to me. When I was with No Limit, they said, you can do whatever podcast, do whatever you need to do to promote the fight. We've got no problem with that. As long as it's not a rugby league based thing, you do whatever you need to do. So they've always been very good like that. And that's what this is. It's about promoting the fight, promoting boxing, and promoting what I'm doing, promoting the Sonny Bill fight. And so I naturally just said yes to you. And then when sort of I was asked about it, I'm like, well, no, I'm going to do it. I've been asked to do it. And they're fine. They never come back to me and complained or never said, no, you can't. Like, they're all right. I had to tell them I was doing it.
Yeah, because I was off there, and I'll be up front with you here. I'm a little bit off there because I thought they were asking too much, $70, and I said that.
Yep.
I think at 50 they might have sold more tickets.
Is that how much the fight is? 70.
Yeah, it's 70, same as Tim. So,
But that's about what it is. That's fair enough.
I don't know
that's
if
fine.
people want to whinge about $70. You can't go to the movies with your partner these days for $70. You can buy it for $70, sit in your comfort of your own home and have 4 or 5 of your mates around. It's cheap. It's not
The
expensive
bottom
at all.
line is, and I had feedback from punters that look at $70 for a couple of old footballers, but you're really not a couple of old footballers.
Well, that's the thing.
You're two people who just don't cop each other. Big, strong men, and we've waited a long, long time for
And people want to
it's
say
true.
old footballers, but people want to say like I was fighting Justice Hooney. I was fighting Justice Hooney at 40.
Yeah.
Chris Tervieski at 41.
Yeah.
I wasn't too old then. Sonny Bill's 39.
Mate, it was your decision to be charging 170
No. Look, I'd be guided by them. Look,
and buy another house on the water.
hopefully.
Who do you think's
Mate,
tighter
you
with
think-
their money, you or Des Hasler?
I don't know, Des. I'll say this about me. I'm not tight. I've got a reputation for being tight, but a tight person for me is someone that doesn't do anything.
Won't spend their cash.
I miss out on nothing in life. I enjoy life. I travel the world.
Mate.
I've had a great life, a way better life than I ever thought I was going to have. And,
What
my
will
family
you
and
do?
friends,
What will you do, Gal, when you retire? I know
That's-
you got
that's
great
the next-
TV gig.
Yeah, that's the next part of my life I've got to figure
Yeah.
out. I can't answer that, Buzz. I really don't know. Yeah, what you said before does scare me a bit. I do enjoy a challenge. I do enjoy. I can't sit still at home. I'm going to need something to occupy my time and occupy my brain. What that is, I don't know yet. I don't know. I can't give the answer. I don't know.
Drink and punt like the rest of us.
That's one thing with me. One thing I've learned about myself is that I'm all or nothing. And,
Yeah.
And to be
You're
all
just competitive,
yeah,
aren't you?
but to be all or nothing when you're doing that, it's
Oh, I
a slippery
hear, mate.
slope. That
I have
happens real fast.
I have the same demons.
Yeah, it happens real
You
quick.
got to be careful.
Very
It's
careful.
Yeah.
really good, Gal, and it's particularly good you spoke about it, the fact you needed help.
Yeah, well,
Because you know as well, I was a bit worried about you that trip on Vegas, over in Vegas, and I did it, mate. I checked in on you one day over there, and
no, it was a big trip.
You know what? It's
It was a big.
that's,
Yeah,
you know
well,
that's
but it's big
that
that
trip
you-
chewed and spat out a few of us. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't think you're the Lone Ranger
I
sleeping
didn't-
all the way from Vegas to.
I didn't
to
see
Sydney.
you for about 3 or 4 days.
No, I went into stealth mode there at one
No,
point.
look,
It's a
good fun. And I think-
dangerous city.
And I think if you're going to go and enjoy yourself anywhere, you should be allowed to do it in Las Vegas. But for me, it wasn't about just Las Vegas. It was about the entire year before that. And the biggest issue for me is what I said earlier is I was handling drinking the way I was, and that's not me.
Yeah, right.
And that's turn up to work and being able to get through work and know without anyone knowing
And Gal,
that was an
But
issue.
you've seen that with a lot of like
100%.
people in footy
my
all
best,
the
one of
time.
my best mates,
Gal-
he's in a few dramas at the moment.
Right.
I've seen it firsthand. My best mate was a kid's dead. Like I've seen it. I've seen it multiple times, over and over. People I know been in jail because of drugs. It gets a slippery slope. It happens like that.
Yeah.
If you're stumbling around a pub too, full of peers, the blokes want to fight you.
It
You had that drama down in Wollongong where Paul
Yeah,
Levy had to say, "What about Levy? Stop it, gal, stop!"
Yeah, well, I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, that can happen. And it does happen. Look, I remember, wasn't that long ago, actually, probably, I was down in Cronulla, of all places, Cronulla, which I'm pretty safe in Cronulla. And, mate, this bloke walked up behind me and whacked me on the back of the neck, like hard. And I thought it was someone I knew.
With a fist or just an open hand?
Like a whack, like a rule. And I was like, but I thought it was someone he knew, you know?
Yeah.
And I've turned around, like, and he's looked at me and he goes, "Hey, mate," I put his hand and shake my hand. And I shook his hand. I said, "Hey, mate, how are you?" I didn't know if I knew him or not. Anyway, that was it. He's walked away. Turns out I got a picture the next day, or a video sent me the next day from a person I know in Cronulla. Did you know this bloke? I said, "No." He's got his mates over in the corner filming it.
Oh, that old trick.
Wait, hoping I'd react, obviously. Hoping I'd react and do something. Yeah, man, that's just like, what a...
it stuns me.
Scumbags in life.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
But I see that, I see it around, like, the Johns boys and JT and others, like people just trying to get something for social media.
100%. It's like ridiculous. The world we live in at the moment is absolutely crazy, but that's what
Do you get sick of that? Do you get sick of that sort of attention?
Put it this way, I haven't, as I said, last year and this year, I haven't been out, I haven't drank, so I haven't missed it. And that's one thing Buzz said to me earlier. Are you going to have a breakout after this? I'm like, you know what, Buzz, if you asked me 12 months ago, I would 100%, I can't wait. But there's been moments I've been laying there in bed at night, thank God I've enjoyed the last couple of years where I haven't been going out and tearing in, haven't been stressed for 3 days. What have I done wrong? What's going to come out about me?
The head noise the next morning.
It happens. Like I've actually been enjoying it. So yeah, maybe, I don't know. Yeah,
is there a lot of things you want to do with the rest of your life? Like, do you want to take your family to Europe?
I want to go see a European summer. It's something I really want to do. Yeah, I want to do that.
You won't do that at Channel 9.
No, but look, there's going to come a time that's all going to end. And I don't want to be like, look, one thing about Gus is probably one of the smartest blokes I've ever met or known. I can't say I know him that well, but from what I know of him, he's a really, really intelligent man. But he's still, I don't know what Gus is, but what would it be, 60, 65?
Early 60s,
yeah.
67, like still working. And like, I'm not saying I don't want to be doing that, but when I'm that age, I want to be enjoying my life. I want to be traveling. I want to be seeing the world, parts of the world I haven't seen, taking my family away if they're still around or if they're still living with me. Enjoying time with my wife. Like, I don't want to be working as hard as you guys are at your age. No offense.
Like, mate, I'm gone. I'm dead set gone.
But that's what you guys are doing.
Buzz is significantly older than me.
Yeah. but that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
and look, I don't. I want to be doing other things. Yeah.
So you want to get out. You want to get like, as much as we all love the game, you want to get out of it at some point.
Yes. Yeah.
Can I ask this about Gus? Like, I love, you guys are great. You banter on 100% footy, but I do, I've been around long enough to remember Gus had a good crack at you guys. He called you. You didn't call you directly selfish, but the Origin team, the New South Wales team, selfish. Did you have to clear the air with him before you went on 100% footy with him?
No, not really. We cleared it on air one night. And I expressed my frustration as to, at the end of the day, people who play Origin, people who rep footy, they don't put themselves there. They're selected by other people. All you can do is go and play the best thing for your team. And once you get there, you got to go. You got a game plan or whatever your coach tells you to do. And I never ventured for that or went away from that at all. And that's one thing where he was sort of alluding to that I was, but yeah, that annoyed me a bit. But look, at the end of the day, as I said, he's a smart man. I'm not going to. We're not great mates. We don't sit there and chat like this in between.
You're not as close. You're not as close as him and Chamis.
No. But I've got to be honest.
That was good TV.
I really do respect what he knows about the game. He does know a hell of a lot. I got no doubt about that.
He's a genius. He really is.
I don't always agree with what he says. I don't always think his evaluation is right because we've all got different opinions. But I think overall he's a smart man when it comes to rugby league. I can't take that away from him. Yeah. No matter what he said about me in the past, which I don't agree with, and I don't. At the end of the day, mate, that Queensland team we played against was just too good.
Yeah,
like Luke, it was the best rep side ever assembled.
Ever. And like when you beat him, and we beat him once. But a guy like Darren Lockyer retires, who could be and probably should be an immortal. He's partnered with
Thurston,
and then all of a sudden you bring in Cooper Cronk, who's probably got a better record than all of them. Like they were just too good, and then now not there. I can admit it. And they had these great bunch of forwards who just worked so hard for him. And I was lucky enough to play 30-odd test match with Cameron Smith and Slater and Thurston. And,
Mate, there was a stage you were the one New South Wales player nearly in that side. That's how powerful they were.
There was probably
there wasn't many.
I think there was one test match in 2010. I think it was where I think there was three of us. Yeah, there was three of us, and then one or two of the Queenslanders pulled out. Kate Snowden, I remember Kate Snowden played for Australia, got called in. So there was four. There might have been five at the most. So, and then, at the end of 2012, they sung the Queensland song up there in Queensland.
That's right.
That wasn't any good, but
with the Australian team.
With the Australian team, yeah. But look, they were very dominant.
Do you think? I don't reckon Laurie. I've written this in the Oz tomorrow. I don't think Laurie gets enough credit for that 14 win.
No,
it's up there. It's up there with one of the great Origin coaching. Performances.
Hodgkinson and Reynolds were not Johnson.
Well, what got me is they never played the next year.
Yeah, that's right.
But look, I really hope Loz wins this series because he deserves success.
Isn't he a champion?
Champion bloke. And he's New South Wales. He's what you think about New South Wales. I think about three blokes. I think about Andrew Johns, Brad Fittler, and Laurie Daly.
Yeah,
those are three best players I've ever seen play for New South Wales. I just think, and I'm lucky enough to work with two of them and get on really good with Laurie Daly. I just hope Laurie gets what he deserves because he deserves some success. I'd love to see him win 2 or 3 series in a row. Whether he does, that's up now. We can't control that here, but I just think he put himself. Along with guys like Ricky Stewart, Craig Byrne was there also. Back in the day, they put themselves forwards when a lot of other people wouldn't have put their hand up to coach that team against that great Queensland side.
Sorry, just one quick one about Origin. Do you ride Origin coverage like Joey does? Like Joey, are you the same?
I love it. I hate Queensland this time of year. I love it, and it's the pinnacle of the game. It's so good.
Would you ever coach?
No.
Never?
No.
I thought you would.
I love doing stuff with the young blokes. So I coach the junior rep stuff at Cronology, the development squad stuff. I'm not doing the winter program just because of this fight. I do the summer stuff. I've done it the last 3 or 4 years. I enjoy that. I coach young kids, but look at maybe going forward, it might be something I want to get a little bit more involved. Maybe, but I don't have any ambition to be a head coach. No.
Right. Gal, listen, thanks so much for your time, mate. That was a great chat. So Sonny Bill, Paul Gallen, Wednesday, July 16, Kudos Make Arena. Tickets at Ticket Tech, and you can watch on Stan Sport. Thanks, Gal.
No worries, guys. Thank you.
Mate, thanks, heaps. It's great.
Thanks, Buzz. No worries. Thanks, boys.